Welcome back. I'm Matt from Living EVs.
And I'm Andrew from the Current Review.
I'm Ben from Electric Car News.
And today we'll be discussing new Tesla updates and our thoughts and experiences with them. So to start off with, what do you guys think? Have any of you experienced like full self-driving beta yet or no?
No.
No. No, honestly, I actually have. When I took out the Model Y Performance and I tried out full self-driving beta, it's pretty impressive. And although there's things that need to be improved, and there's something that has been improved today, which is the debris and pothole avoidance, which is probably one of the more important things, especially living in Southern California. The roads are like, I don't know how to explain it. The roads are not good.
They are here anyway. I don't know how it's going to work when it finally arrives, becomes available now.
Yeah.
Probably like 2020, second half of next year before first rollout of it happens. But I don't know. Be interested to see how it all works out.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, Elon mentioned about the next possibility, or the next place that full self-driving beta will be released, and that's Norway. But I'd be a little bit dubious where how Tesla in Norway will work.
Certain areas as well, like and probably around cities like Oslo and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
How they'll map it properly, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it probably maps pretty well because of the high density of Teslas. I think it has one of the highest densities of Tesla in the world because of their tax credits, stuff like that. There's quite a lot of Model 3s around there.
Yeah,
so
they have crazy amount of EV sales, like. But
yeah.
This bit can be edited out.
Yeah, that'll probably be edited out. Yeah.
Is there anything much else to talk about? We can talk about the new batteries and stuff.
Yeah, we can talk about new batteries if you want. So the next topic that I was thinking about is the new lithium iron phosphate batteries, and most people are actually experiencing quicker supercharging times. What do you guys think about that?
Wait, sorry, my Mac's about to die. I had no idea it was. All right, sorry, it's like 4%. So
no, sorry,
came up there. Yeah, sorry about that. All right.
So many people have been talking about the new lithium iron phosphate batteries that are in the Model 3s and how supercharging sessions are a lot quicker under the same amount of power. What do you guys think about it?
I think Ben is frozen.
Wait, no, I'm back now. Am I still frozen?
Yeah.
Big man's still frozen.
Literally
still like this. There you go, you're back.
All right, grand. Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot to be honest about this. Like, yeah, I don't like.
I personally think it's.
What did they do with the batteries exactly? Don't put this in the actual thing now. Just edit all of this shit out. But like, I'm just actually curious.
Yeah, can you explain this on the molecular level? I think we all need to know how the different ions are formed. I think the viewers will find that very interesting.
So basically, hold on, let me just quickly look up. It's basically it's to reduce cobalt mining. So cobalt is I forgot what it's called. I don't know what its use is in the battery. Oh, it's the cathode. So the cathode of the battery is previously made out of cobalt. However, cobalt's really, really, really dirty to mine. They're using child labor in Central Africa.
Oh, from the Congo,
yeah, from the Congo. So Tesla Dream Battery
interesting because they say they don't get any from Bolivia, but they just got like a new leader, and she's like super like left wing and like won't stand for any like exploitation or whatever of their cobalt supply. And Tesla say they don't get any from Bolivia, but it's kind of interesting now they're doing this just as there happens to be a new change in leadership in Bolivia.
Right, yeah. Well, basically the new batteries are basically just replacing the cobalt with the iron, which is something that Tesla and Battery Day reckon. And realistically, Elon Musk wanted to break it down to specific categories. Like for hyper long range, he was going to be using nickel, and nickel's quite easy to mine, but it's a little bit difficult to use in the batteries. But it's very high density, like very high density in nickel. So they were planning on doing that. However, with the like lower range, less use cases, they're going to be using the iron as the cathode for the batteries. And now we're finally seeing some of the effects of the iron as the cathode of the batteries. And something interesting.
Much, oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
It's interesting because Tesla recommends you to charge the car to 100 on a daily from now on.
Okay.
Yeah, so
is. I know that
it's quite interesting.
Before, the only car you could really do that with was the 60, because it had a 75 kilowatt battery with a limiter on it. But yeah, no, it is interesting, right?
Yeah, in the 2012 Tesla Model S 40, which is a limited 60.
Yeah. And then actually the 60 you couldn't, because it was the 2016 60 was the only 60 you could charge.
When they use a 75.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I know.
Yeah. But something else that Elon actually mentioned was to start off Giga Berlin with the Model Y production, they were going to introduce all the new technology that that he mentioned during Battery Day, such as the structural batteries to reduce weight in the frame. He wants to use the 4680 cells for the Model Y, and he also wants to use the a new casting for the Model Y as well to increase production speed, along with new paint systems, stuff like that. But what he wants to do is he wants to get out all the teething areas with the early Model Ys with the new production in Berlin, and then in 2 years it should become like a worldwide sort of thing. So yeah, I think that was quite interesting.
He's in there at the moment, isn't he? He's like hiring people personally.
Yeah,
tomorrow,
he is.
Yeah. Imagine going in like just for your job interview and just being interviewed by Elon Musk like himself.
Yeah, actually, my dad's one of his friends got personally interviewed by Elon Musk as a job for SpaceX. So
interesting.
I don't know, it's a connection to Elon. I don't know.
He'd be a cool person to meet.
Yeah, he would be a cool person to meet.
He should be a cool person to invite on here. That'd be very cool.
How will we go about that? I don't know. We've got we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's hyping up Giga Berlin a lot. They were saying it's gonna have like a really good paint shop and everything. And they're gonna start wrapping cars soon. They'll have their own wrapping service.
Yeah, I heard of that.
They're already doing
I've
China
heard about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've started there.
That's one thing about Tesla right now, because in the current state of affairs with them, they only have 5 paint color options and they only have 2 interior options in the Model 3 and Y. And yet the build quality is just still not there. When you have,
they're trying to make it as basic as possible,
the build quality still isn't amazing when you have other manufacturers who give you like 10 different wheel options, 10 different paint colors, all these different interior options, and yet their build quality is fantastic. But hopefully this will be just some growing pains with our company.
Yeah, I mean that sort of goes on with the fact of how production should continue for the future, because painting is notoriously difficult for quality, for time, and that's sort of why they've gone for the full cold rolled steel for the Cybertruck, to really decrease the time that it takes to produce the car. And I think it's interesting how they were thinking of tempering the metals for the different colors, which is quite cool.
Did Tesla themselves or Elon Musk, did he say it, or was that just people posting? But I don't think he actually said anything. I could be wrong.
I don't think it's official.
He might have tweeted something a while back, but
I don't think it's official yet. But yeah, he mentioned it.
Yeah, they're showing a revised Cybertruck next month, apparently, slightly revised. They'll probably just be renders they'll show or something. I doubt they'll actually show a vehicle. I'd say they haven't done much to the prototypes yet, but they might just show renderings of what a production car could potentially look like. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, and so on the topic of the Cybertruck, there's a lot that they'll have to change for the actual production version. The first one is obviously the side view mirrors. That's something you need to have, and it's interesting. I'm going to be interested in seeing the design they're going to choose, because they're using cold rolled stainless steel, and I don't know all the specifics of it, but it'll be interesting to see the design, especially on those.
Definitely. I don't think regulators will permit it even by the time the Cybertruck, well, they say late 2021, but I don't know. I mean, like the mirrors will still be mandatory in the US at that stage. Like it's
Yeah.
not going to change within the next year. And I don't know
I
if
agree.
they want to sell it in Europe, it's way too big. Like it'll be classed in different tax bands in some countries, and everything won't be classed as like a passenger vehicle. It will, because of the weight and everything. It will probably be classed as like a semi equivalent of, well, a van or a truck. Like it won't be classed as a civilian vehicle like in many countries. I know in Ireland for one anyway, like it, because it's going to be over 3 tons probably. So, and that's cut off point. Like,
Yeah. So what does everyone feel about the design aspects of the Cybertruck?
I think it's quite innovative. It's a little bit quirky, and I don't think everyone will warm up to it, to be honest with you.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying like the people who it appeals to are might necessarily buy it because they're kind of like urban, live in cities. They're not really like truck owning people. They needed to appeal to like the people who weren't interested in Tesla or EVs before, like the kind of Rust Belt, like kind of, because they're the people who buy F-150s, like who buy Rams, who buy Silverados. They're all just living rurally. That's like the majority of the market. Like I think I'd say of the 950,000 F-150s sold in the US last year, like at least 600K were rural, like, you know. So, I mean, that's just off the top of my head, that 600K figure. But I mean, I'm sure if I checked it out, it would be around then. Like, it's not, the demographics aren't cities. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I personally think I feel like Tesla appealed for a market that previously wasn't interested in trucks to buy a truck, not to pull people from their existing trucks onto there. Because I don't think the Cybertruck really is a turning point for a lot of people who are trying to be more eco-friendly, whatever. It's more for the, like for the millennial or something like that who is,
yeah, exactly. And I wonder, like, a lot of them just put down the $100 deposit because, you know, why not? Like, it would look cool to have it up on the app. But like, I wonder how many will actually follow through and actually fulfill their order. Like, it'd be very interesting to see. I'd say less than half. Like,
I mean, I personally put a deposit down on the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how, but I think maybe looking at the new renders of what it could look like, it probably would change my. I mean, it depends. You know, it's a refundable deposit, but I think if all goes well.
Is it like 600,000 now or 650,000?
It's something like 600K.
They stopped reporting on it after 500,000, I think. But
which one?
Yeah.
Which one did you go
for? The Cybertruck.
No, but
I went for the dual motor one.
Single motor isn't going to arrive until like 2023. They're saying, yeah. What were you going to say about the tri-motor though? Yeah.
But the tri-motor was a bit too far, and the rear-wheel drive. It's nice. However, I have a rear-wheel drive, Model 3, and we probably wanted to go for the dual motor, so we went for the dual motor. But it depends on. I personally don't think that the rear-wheel drive one will be coming out for a long, long time until battery densities probably increase over the next few years.
Because, like, sure, his excuse for the standard range plus Model Y is that it. Well, it was just going to be the standard range Model Y originally, is what they said, and his excuse for that was that the range just wouldn't be sufficient. You'd be less than 250 miles of charge, which isn't acceptable, on reckons.
So speaking of the standard ranges, remember when the Model 3 was going to have cloth seats, manual steering adjustment, and then they just changed it where they would downgrade the Standard Plus via software? When do we think that Tesla will eventually make an actual entry-level vehicle with like manual seats and cloth upholstery?
Well, I don't think it will be the Model 3. I think it will be the China-built kind of smaller, like the subcompact. Well, no, like the ID3 sized rival, the hatchback that he was talking about at Battery Day, 25K Tesla. I mean, that would probably be, I think, realistically, despite what Elon says, it'll probably be 2024, 2025. I mean, what was the schedule he put on it again? Was it by
3 years?
Not
I
quite
think.
sure.
3 years, was it? So 2023, yeah, I don't know will it be by then because they have so much on their plate. I mean, the Semi as well is still not near production.
Yeah,
like
in fact, the Semi got a huge
order, 150, yeah,
150 with an extension of up to 500, I think. I think it was from Pride Group Enterprise, and they ordered. I think it's a leasing company. I'm not quite sure, but
Yeah, I saw the
Could be
order. All right,
interesting.
I didn't check out who it was from in the end. I was meaning to look into that,
Yeah,
but I saw the 150. All right, yeah. And you say it's
I
up to
do think
500, is it? Yeah.
yeah, with an option up to 500. However, I mean it's a $5,000 deposit, so it depends on. But I can't really see any other competitors in this electric vehicle market, but I think there's still a lot of work to be done, and I think Tesla will.
Yeah.
This is the most important vehicle for Tesla.
I do
Yeah,
think it's
there
interesting
is.
though, like Rivian and their vans they're building for Amazon.
Yeah,
Are
no,
they
that.
what's the story with, I mean obviously it's completely different to a semi, but
Mm.
what's the story? Are they a bit unrelated now, but is that exclusively for Amazon, or are they willing to sell to other companies as well? Because as far as
That's interesting.
from
Yeah,
my understanding, it was exclusive to Amazon, but I
yeah.
wouldn't be so sure. I
It was
mean,
a big
at the end of the
investment
day,
from the Amazon group.
yeah, Amazon gave them hundreds of millions of dollars, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It should be interesting. Maybe they might have. I'm not sure if Amazon have the proprietary technology to what Rivian made for that van, but I think maybe there could be a possibility to license it out for production for other companies like DHL, probably, UPS, FedEx. I don't know. We'll see, but I think Amazon in their best right wants to keep it to themselves as much as they possibly can, unless they want to license it out to production of to other companies, because I mean, yeah, it depends
I
on
mean,
what
it's good for their brand image too, because then whenever anyone sees it, they're like, "Oh, Amazon, they're the only ones with electric delivery
Yeah,
trucks."
yeah.
But yeah, when
And
you were
Nikola now
mentioning
is
the
falling.
semis, there is one competition, and it's Nikola.
Yeah, I was
And
just saying there, yeah. No.
I think we're on a long road to one of those like probably comes out, because
If GM pulls
if
out now, they're done for, I reckon.
but they
exactly,
can run
and
down.
GM.
I mean,
Go
they
ahead.
have the frame. It rolled down a hill. I mean, they have that done.
Yeah.
That's half the battle. Now you have to actually make proper batteries,
Now they have
proper
to make
ring,
the
proper
batteries,
infrastructure. I mean,
infrastructure,
Elon's talked about
motors.
a 1.4 megawatt charging infrastructure for the semi, which is pretty incredible, really. But he wants to split it up into 2 or 3 different cells to quick charge each battery pack. But it's looking like the Cybertruck will, so the Cybertruck semi should have a 1 megawatt pack. But it should be interesting to see how it's possible to get a 1.4 megawatt charger, including if they sell lots of them, where the power is coming from. Because like not very many power stations would be able to power 10 of those at one attempt. I don't know.
You could just use a wall charger. It's fine. Like you can just trickle charge it.
Sure, yeah.
It would take
like 1,000 hours the way that I charge mine.
2 months. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd
But
be
what would be
interesting.
cool is if they do something like what Neo's doing with the battery swap stations, and they could have like
that'd be interesting.
2 battery. I don't know what the size would be, but just say like 4 battery packs, and then you could drive over it, and they'd swap them out, and then Tesla would, like, they could almost go on a rental program for the batteries for the companies, so the trucks would be pretty cheap.
It's an incredibly efficient system Neo have going at the moment. From what I've seen from China, like it's remarkable. People are in and out in literally a couple of minutes done. Like, so.
Yeah.
But the one thing I wonder about is how are those batteries going to hold up in the long term? Because I feel like people wouldn't take great care of the batteries because they know it's not theirs. They might charge it to 100%. But I feel like they would have a system in place to protect against that.
Well, are they charging it? They're not charging it though, because they swap out the battery and then they just get a new one and go, and then it's the system charges it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So the system would charge it to whatever Neo want. So 85%, 90%.
Unless he brought it back on zero charge.
Yeah.
Interesting. But there's also another thing about, because like the time it takes to unload a semi and to reinstall one, there's talks about having like actual charging infrastructure into the building, so the 3 or so hours that it takes to plug in while it's being reloaded could be a what's it called, like a lifeline for Tesla, maybe a 250 kilowatt like dedicated line to each of the buildings, which is a lot of power and probably needs a lot of infrastructure for that, but it could be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think, sorry, my screen, I'm doing dual screen, so it's a bit of a nightmare at times.
Yeah. And then probably the last thing I wanted to mention about the Semi is also the solar cells that they want to add to the actual roof. Through one drive, it'll be able to produce 45 kilowatts of energy, which is quite impressive. It's, it's 5% of its energy through one trip, which is, it's there. It's something that Electric Future mentioned on his YouTube channel. So
yeah, no, theoretically that all sounds very promising. I think in the past though, Elon said that. I mean, I know with the Semi it's different because there's so much room on it to put the solar, but he said it wouldn't make any sense for the cars to do it that way. Because it'd just be too expensive and inefficient. Wouldn't make a difference, but it'd be on the Semi. It could definitely work.
Or you could do what Fisker does. I mean, Fisker and Karma are both doing it, and I mean the range increases like what 1 or 2 miles a day. It's not really worth the intense cost to get those panels in.
I'd say it might be slightly better on the ocean because of the way it's completely flat.
Yeah,
like more space to put good panels on and get more sun direct.
Yeah,
I mean it sounds cool in concept.
Yeah, it could be interesting. I'm not too clued up on the how solar panels really work and how they can integrate them into the roof, but it should be interesting. I'm not too sure if it's worth the effort at this because solar panels are only 18% efficient, something like that. So,
but I do see it in one scenario, and that's I know Audi used to do this with their. I know Maybach and Audi used to do this. And they would have it run the AC while the car's parked. And
that'd be
especially if you live in like California or Arizona, you could have your car parked and it could keep the batteries cooled or the AC on.
Interesting, right? Yeah, that would make sense.
That is interesting, yeah.
So
there's a lot of new technology.
Oh yeah. Will we leave it there for this week? Right. Yeah. Time now. I think you said you have to go at once. So.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. I think we kept that interesting. We were like 20 minutes. It's perfect.